when you can get gay news everywhere, essentially. So what we did, and we were very early on positioned ourselves to fact check Trump before everyone else and stuff like that. And he said, we are going to embrace, and if you see The Advocate now, you will see stories that are not just trans, not just women, but they're about we're going to embrace this queer progressive political identity that comes out of early queer liberation politics, which may not necessarily represent white, conservative, gay men, which there are too many of, I think. But anyway, but you know what I mean? And that's going to be our editorial directive. And we've doubled our readership with that. And so from my perspective, whether it's comics or whatever, you can embrace those philosophies and execute them well, then I think you're gonna be able to have greater representation. So
I think to answer your question about like webcomics and free content, and I think you have to look at who you care about getting paid, right? For webcomic artists, you know, unfortunately a lot of them don't make a lot of money, but there are ways that they can get themselves paid. You know, prints, Patreon, you know, merch collections, and then, you know, if you're talking about though, like companies moving more of their content online for various reasons, and while I love the tactile of things, right, I think that surfacing more content online makes it more accessible, right, not only for accessibility options that exist in online like applications, but for the fact that content that exists online that's cheaper can reach segments of the population that don't have the money to spend on weeklies or even trades, right? Like you can hit such a larger section of like a class swath essentially. But you know, I think it matters when we talk about this that we like, you know, what's gonna affect these companies, right? Bottom line is so different from what most webcomic artists are doing. I don't know how you solve that for like larger companies if they start producing free content, right? Like if Marvel, DC,
You'll never